The Silent Watchers. Admiral Helena Shaw stood at the observation deck of Luna Base Epsilon, her weathered hands clasped behind her back as she watched Earth rotate slowly beneath her. To any alien surveillance, the base would appear as nothing more than a primitive research outpost, its exterior deliberately designed to match humanity's supposed technological level, barely capable of maintaining a permanent lunar presence. The truth couldn't have been more different. Deep beneath the lunar surface, quantum computers processed data from thousands of cloaked probes scattered throughout the galaxy. For 50 years, humanity had maintained the greatest deception in its history, appearing as a struggling civilization, while secretly preparing for the moment they knew would eventually come. Admiral, the Hegemony scout ship has entered the system, Captain Marcus Chen reported, his holographic form materializing beside her. They're maintaining their usual observation pattern. Helena nodded, her steel-gray hair catching the Earthlight. And our sensor shroud. Operating perfectly. They're seeing exactly what we want them to see. Another failed attempt at establishing a permanent Mars colony. Marcus's lips curved into a slight smile. The Hegemony's latest report still classifies us as a Class II pre-spacefaring civilization. The deception had begun in 2047, when humanity detected their first alien probe on the edge of the solar system. Instead of announcing their presence to the galaxy, Earth's nations had made an unprecedented decision to hide their true capabilities while studying the alien civilizations around them. The primitive space program they showed to the galaxy was an elaborate facade, carefully orchestrated to maintain the illusion of a struggling species. Status update on the Hyperion, Helena asked, referring to humanity's first true battleship hidden within the asteroid belt. Marcus projected a new hologram, showing a massive vessel unlike anything the galaxy had yet seen. Final quantum shield calibrations are complete. Dr. Patel's team has successfully integrated the dark matter cascade system. The Hyperion is ready. Helena allowed herself a moment of pride. While the Hegemony relied on brute force particle weapons and predictable faster-than-light travel, humanity had taken a different path. The Hyperion represented the culmination of 50 years of secret development, a ship that could manipulate the fundamental forces of reality itself. Admiral, a new voice called. Dr. Sarah Patil appeared, her dark eyes intense. We've decoded more of the Hegemony's recent communications. It's happening sooner than we expected. Helena's expression hardened. Show me. The air filled with streams of decoded alien transmissions. The pattern was clear. The Hegemony was preparing for their standard approach to uplifting primitive civilizations. First would come the diplomatic contact, then the offers of technology, and finally the revelation that every piece of gifted technology contained hidden control systems. It was how they had enslaved dozens of species, transforming them into vassal states dependent on Hegemony technology. They're accelerating their timeline, Sarah explained. The diplomatic fleet will arrive within 3 months, not 6 as we originally estimated. Helena moved to the command center's main strategic display, her mind already adapting their plans. Perhaps it's time we had an unfortunate accident with our Mars colony. Something spectacular enough to convince them we're even more primitive than they thought. I'll have the staging team prepare a suitable disaster, Marcus said. Something involving our experimental fusion drive. Make it convincing. We need them absolutely certain of their technological superiority when they arrive. Helena's eyes remained fixed on the Hyperion schematics. Dr. Patel, how many ships could we have ready within 3 months? Sarah consulted her data. Besides the Hyperion, we could have 5 Aurora-class vessels combat-ready, not as sophisticated as the Hyperion, but each one capable of matching an entire Hegemony battle fleet. It would have to be enough. Humanity couldn't wait any longer. The Hegemony was expanding too quickly, enslaving too many civilizations. Someone had to break their power, and Earth had spent 50 years preparing to be that someone. Begin final preparations, Helena ordered, but maintain our cover until the last possible moment. I want the hegemony's diplomatic fleet to arrive believing they're about to subjugate another primitive species. She smiled thinly. Let them keep thinking that right up until the moment they realize they've walked into a trap 5 decades in the making. As her officers acknowledged the orders, Helena returned her gaze to Earth. From up here, you could almost forget the massive military-industrial complex hidden beneath the planet's surface, the quantum shipyards concealed within, the asteroid belt, the thousands of cloaked satellites monitoring every corner of the solar system. To the galaxy, Earth appeared as a beautiful but primitive world, still taking its first stumbling steps into space. Soon, very soon, the galaxy would learn that appearances could be deceiving, and humanity would emerge not as another civilization to be enslaved, but as a force that would reshape the balance of power among the stars. Send word to all commands, Helena said quietly. Operation Eclipse begins now. Project Eclipse. The Hyperion hung suspended in the void of the asteroid belt, its dark hull absorbing nearly all electromagnetic radiation. At 15 kilometers in length, it was larger than anything humanity had ever built in space, yet to the galaxy's most advanced sensors, it might as well have been invisible. Commander Aisha Patel drifted through the ship's quantum core chamber, her movements precise in the zero gravity. Holographic displays surrounded her, showing real-time data from the ship's revolutionary systems. Unlike the hegemony's brute force approach to space warfare, the Hyperion represented an entirely new paradigm. Core quantum coherence at 99.9%, her AI assistant reported. Dark matter cascade systems nominal. We're ready for the final test, Commander. Aisha allowed herself a small smile. Her mother had helped develop the theoretical framework for this technology before she passed away. Now, after 20 years of development, they were about to see if it actually worked. All hands, this is Commander Patel, she announced shipwide. Prepare for quantum displacement test. Secure all stations. The Hyperion's revolutionary drive system didn't just move through space. It manipulated the fundamental structure of reality itself. If it worked, they would be able to simply step through the quantum fabric of space-time, appearing anywhere they wished without any traditional acceleration or energy signature. Test coordinates locked. Her XO, Commander David Chen, reported from the bridge. We're targeting the dark side of Neptune. All observation posts report ready. This would be their most ambitious test yet. If any of the hegemony surveillance picked up even a hint of their true capabilities, 50 years of deception would be undone in an instant. Initialize quantum field, Aisha ordered. The massive ship hummed to life around her. Unlike the crude matter-antimatter drives used by the hegemony, the Hyperion's quantum core manipulated dark energy itself. The technology had been reverse-engineered from humanity's study of quantum entanglement and zero-point energy, developed in absolute secrecy while the world maintained its facade of primitive spaceflight. Field stabilizing, David reported. Quantum coherence holding steady. Ready for displacement on your mark. Aisha took a deep breath. This was the moment of truth. Execute displacement. For a fraction of a second, reality seemed to fold. There was no sensation of movement, no acceleration. One moment they were in the asteroid belt, and the next. Displacement successful. David's voice held carefully controlled excitement. We're in high Neptune orbit. Exactly on target. No detectable energy signature. The hegemony observation posts haven't noticed a thing. Aisha allowed herself to feel a moment of triumph. The Hyperion wasn't just a warship. It was humanity's proof that there were other paths to the stars than the ones the hegemony had forced upon the galaxy. Begin power-up sequence for weapons testing, she ordered. Let's see what else this ship can do. The Hyperion's weapon systems were as revolutionary as its drive. Instead of the particle beams and plasma torpedoes used by the hegemony, humanity had developed weapons that targeted the quantum structure of matter itself. In theory, no conventional shields could stop them. Target drones deployed, David reported. They're running simulated hegemony shield configurations. The test drones, built to the exact specifications of hegemony warships, took up position 10,000 kilometers from the Hyperion. Their shields were exact duplicates of the most advanced protection systems in the galaxy. Target locked, Weapons Officer Sarah Martinez announced. Quantum lance charged and ready. Fire. There was no visible beam, no dramatic explosion. The quantum lance simply reached out and touched the first drone. Its shields, designed to stop any conventional energy or matter, might as well have been tissue paper. The drone simply ceased to exist, its quantum structure completely disrupted. Direct hit, Sarah reported calmly. Target completely neutralized. No residual energy signature detected. The hegemony's observation posts on Triton are still dark. One by one, they tested each of the Hyperion's weapon systems. The quantum lance for precision strikes. The dark matter cascades for area denial. The reality distortion fields that could literally twist space itself into a weapon. Each system performed perfectly, and each remained completely undetectable to conventional sensors. Test sequence complete, David announced finally. All systems performing above projected specifications. The Hyperion is combat ready, Commander. Aisha nodded, studying the holographic after-action report. Begin power down sequence. Let's head home. Another quantum displacement brought them back to their hiding place in the asteroid belt. As the ship's systems cycled down, Aisha composed her report to Admiral Shaw. The Hyperion wasn't just ready. It was more capable than they dared hope. Message from Luna Base Epsilon, David reported suddenly. Priority 1. The holographic message appeared before her, and Aisha's expression hardened as she read it. The hegemony diplomatic fleet has changed course. They'll arrive in 6 weeks, not 3 months. They're eager to add another slave species to their collection, David said grimly. Aisha's lips curved into a fierce smile. They're about to learn that humanity isn't as primitive as they think. Signal the other ships. Operation Eclipse is accelerating. It's time to show the galaxy what humanity can really do. As the Hyperion's crew began their preparations, Aisha thought about all the civilizations the hegemony had enslaved, all the species forced to live under their technological tyranny. Soon, very soon, that would all change. Humanity was about to step onto the galactic stage, and nothing in the galaxy would ever be the same. The Archon's ultimatum. The hegemony diplomatic fleet emerged from hyperspace just beyond Mars' orbit. 7 crystalline vessels that gleamed like captured stars. To the watching humans, their arrival was both magnificent and precisely as expected. Every energy signature, every position, had been predicted years in advance through careful observation. In Luna Base Epsilon's diplomatic reception chamber, Admiral Helena Shaw adjusted her deliberately outdated uniform. Around her, Earth's hastily assembled first contact team played their roles perfectly, their apparent nervousness masking decades of preparation. Hegemony vessels maintaining position, Captain Marcus reported through her neural link. Their scan patterns match our predictions exactly. They're seeing exactly what we want them to see. The Hyperion and its sister ships remained undetectable in their quantum-shifted state, positioned perfectly around the hegemony fleet. One word from Helena would spring the trap, but timing was everything. They needed the hegemony to reveal their true intentions first. Incoming transmission, Marcus announced. The Archon himself is leading this delegation. Helena allowed herself a small smile. The hegemony had sent their supreme leader to oversee Earth's integration. Perfect. The holographic display flickered to life, revealing Archon Vorkath. Like all members of the hegemony's ruling species, he appeared almost crystalline, his translucent form shifting with patterns of light the humans had learned were expressions of emotion. Right now, those patterns showed carefully calculated benevolence. Children of Earth, the Archon's translated voice resonated through the chamber. The stellar hegemony greets you. Your species' determination to reach the stars has not gone unnoticed. Helena bowed deeply, playing her role. We are honored by your presence. Arction. Humanity has long dreamed of meeting other civilizations. And now that dream is realized. The Arction's form shifted to Project Calming Patterns. We have watched your struggles with great interest. Your recent setbacks with the Mars colony were unfortunate. Yes, Helena feigned embarrassment. Our technology still has far to go, which is why we are here. The Arction's form brightened. The hegemony offers friendship, guidance, and most importantly, technological assistance. We will help lift your species into the modern age. Through her neural link, Helena received confirmation that the hegemony ships were already attempting to interface with Earth's primitive computer networks. The quantum AI running their security systems fed the aliens exactly the data they expected to see. Your generosity overwhelms us, Helena replied. Though I must ask, what do you seek in return? The Archon's crystalline form shifted again, patterns suggesting amusement. Merely your partnership. The galaxy can be dangerous for developing civilizations. The hegemony would serve as your protectors, guiding your development to ensure stability. I see. Helena shared a carefully choreographed worried glance with her team. Our governments would need time to consider such an arrangement. I'm afraid time is a luxury you don't have. The Archon's patterns shifted to something harder, more aggressive. The galaxy is far more dangerous than you realize. The hegemony's protection is not optional. Right on cue, the hegemony ships began moving into strategic positions around Earth. Their weapon systems powered up, a show of force meant to ensure compliance. Please, Helena pleaded, maintaining her facade. Surely there must be room for discussion. The time for discussion is over. The Archon's form pulsed with dominant patterns. Earth will accept our protection, or face the consequences of isolation in a hostile universe. Even now, our systems are integrating with your primitive technology. Soon, you will understand the benefits of hegemony guidance. Through her neural link, Helena watched as the hegemony's control systems attempted to seize Earth's infrastructure. They found only carefully prepared dummy systems, all designed to make them believe their takeover was succeeding. The choice is yours, the Archon continued. Accept our dominion willingly, or we will be forced to demonstrate why resistance is futile. You have one planetary rotation to submit your formal acceptance of hegemony authority. The hologram disappeared, leaving the chamber in silence. Helena's team maintained their appearances of shock and fear for several more minutes, knowing the hegemony would be watching their reactions. Finally, Helena activated her secure neural link. Status report. The hegemony fell for it completely, Marcus replied. Their control systems are fully engaged with our dummy networks. They believe they've already won. The Hyperion. Ready on your command, Admiral. All ships in position. The Archon's flagship is perfectly centered in our quantum displacement field. Helena allowed herself a fierce smile. Relay to all commands. Operation Eclipse enters final phase in 12 hours. Let's show the hegemony what humanity can really do. The trap was set. When the Archon returned for their answer, he would learn that humanity wasn't just another primitive species to be enslaved. They were about to become the force that broke the hegemony's power forever. In the darkness of space, invisible to even the most advanced alien sensors, humanity's true fleet waited. The greatest deception in Earth's history was about to reach its culmination, and the galaxy would never be the same. Breaking chains. The Earth turned beneath the hegemony fleet, its blue-white surface betraying no sign of the revolution about to unfold. As the deadline approached, Admiral Helena Shaw stood in Luna Base Epsilon's command center, surrounded by holographic displays showing every aspect of the coming operation. The Archon's flagship is signaling, Captain Marcus reported. They're demanding our answer. Helena nodded, her expression calm. Let's give them one they'll never forget. Execute Phase 1. Across Earth's surface, in every major city, the dummy systems the hegemony thought they controlled suddenly went dark. Power grids flickered and died. Communications networks fell silent, and every sign of technology that the aliens could detect simply stopped. The Archon's holographic form materialized in the command center, his crystalline structure pulsing with what humans had learned to recognize as smug satisfaction. "A futile gesture," he declared. "Your primitive attempt to resist our control systems only proves how much you need our guidance. Reactivate your infrastructure, and we will be lenient." Helena straightened, dropping all pretense of subservience. "I have a counter-proposal, Archon Vorkath. The hegemony will immediately withdraw from Earth space, release all its client species from bondage, and submit itself to trial for crimes against sentient beings." The Archon's form flickered with patterns of amusement. "You dare to make demands? Your species can barely maintain a lunar outpost. Your technology is centuries behind ours. You have no weapons that can threaten us, no defenses that can stop us." "Actually," Helena smiled, "we have both. Initiate Phase 2. In that moment, reality shifted. The Hyperion and its sister ships emerged from their quantum displacement fields, appearing simultaneously around the hegemony fleet. Each human vessel was larger than anything the aliens had ever encountered, their dark hulls seeming to bend light itself. "Impossible." The Archon's patterns turned chaotic. "Our sensors showed no signs of such technology. You are a primitive species." "No," Helena corrected him. "We are humanity, and we have spent 50 years preparing for this moment. Your sensors showed you exactly what we wanted them to see. Just as your control systems are currently interfacing with exactly what we wanted them to access. On cue, the hegemony's supposedly unstoppable control systems began to fail, not just in Earth's infrastructure, but throughout their own ships. The quantum virus humanity had allowed them to upload was now spreading through their fleet, turning their own technology against them. "You cannot do this." The Archon's form pulsed with rage. "The hegemony's technology is superior to all others." "Superior?" Helena's voice turned hard. "Your civilization has stagnated, Archon. While you relied on brute force and intimidation, humanity chose a different path. We learned to manipulate the quantum fabric of reality itself. Your shields cannot stop our weapons because they operate on principles your science hasn't even discovered yet." To demonstrate, the Hyperion fired a single quantum lance at an uninhabited section of the Archon's flagship. The beam passed through their supposedly impenetrable shields as if they didn't exist, converting a small portion of hull into quantum energy. "That was a warning," Helena declared. "The next shot will not be so precisely targeted. You have 5 minutes to signal your surrender and begin transmitting the control codes for every piece of hegemony technology in the galaxy." The Archon's form twisted with fury. "You would destroy us. Prove yourselves no better than barbarians." "No." Helena's voice was firm. "We're going to free every species you've enslaved. We're going to share our technology, our real technology, with the galaxy. The age of the hegemony's technological tyranny is over." As if to emphasize her point, more human ships emerged from quantum displacement. Not just warships, but massive vessels that dwarfed even the Hyperion. Mobile shipyards, research stations, diplomatic platforms, humanity's true civilization, hidden for half a century, now revealed in all its glory. 3 minutes, Archon, Helena announced. "Choose carefully. The hegemony can end today as a defeated empire, or as a cautionary tale in future history books." Through quantum-encrypted channels, Helena received confirmation that human fleets were emerging throughout the galaxy, appearing simultaneously at every major hegemony installation. The revolution wouldn't be limited to Earth. It would free every enslaved species in a single coordinated stroke. "The galaxy is changing," she told the stunned Archon. "The only question is whether the hegemony will change with it or be swept aside by it." As the minutes ticked down, Helena watched the Archon's crystalline form shift through patterns of rage, disbelief, and finally, resignation. The greatest deception in human history had succeeded. The chains of technological slavery were about to be broken, and a new era of galactic civilization was about to begin. Dawn of a new era. 1 month after the Hegemony's surrender, Admiral Helena Shaw stood in the newly constructed Galactic Assembly on Luna. The massive chamber, built with previously hidden human technology, hosted representatives from over 300 formerly enslaved species. The air hummed with translator fields as dozens of languages merged into a symphony of newfound freedom. The final control systems are being deactivated now, Commander Aisha Patel reported, her holographic form appearing beside Helena. The last of the Hegemony's kill switches are being purged from Client World's infrastructure. Within 24 hours, every civilization will have full control of their technology again. Helena nodded, watching as the chamber filled. Former Hegemony slave species sat alongside their one-time masters, the crystalline forms of the Hegemony representatives now dulled with submission. The balance of power had shifted irreversibly. And the technology sharing program? Helena asked. Proceeding as planned. Our quantum physics teams are working directly with scientists from each species, teaching them the principles we developed. The first non-human quantum cores will be operational within months. That had been humanity's first decree after the Hegemony's surrender. Knowledge would no longer be hoarded or used as a weapon. Every species would have access to the same technological capabilities, allowed to develop at their own pace and in their own way. Archon Vorkath requests an audience, Captain Marcus reported through the neural link. He's different from when we last saw him. Helena allowed it. The Hegemony leader materialized before her, his once proud crystalline form, now showing patterns of humility she'd never seen before. Admiral Shaw, he began, his translated voice subdued. I have been contemplating the events of the past month. There is something I must understand. Go on. You could have destroyed us. Your quantum weapons could have erased the Hegemony from existence, yet you chose a different path. Why? Helena studied him for a moment. Because destruction is easy, Archon. Building something new, something better. That's the real challenge. Humanity didn't spend 50 years preparing for war. We spent it preparing for peace. I don't understand. Look around this chamber. Helena gestured to the assembled representatives. For millennia, the Hegemony maintained power through technological superiority. You created a galaxy of dependencies and fear. We're creating one of collaboration and shared knowledge. As if to emphasize her point, a holographic display activated in the chamber center, showing the first non-human-built quantum core coming online on a former Hegemony slave world. The achievement was met with cheers from multiple species. Your civilization's greatest mistake, Helena continued, was believing that power comes from controlling others. Real power comes from lifting others up, from building connections rather than dependencies. The Archon's patterns shifted thoughtfully. And what becomes of the Hegemony in this new galaxy you're creating? That depends on you. Helena turned to face him fully. Your species has incredible potential, Archon. You chose to use it to dominate. Now you have the chance to use it to create, to contribute to a galaxy where all species advance together. Through her neural link, Helena received updates from across the galaxy. Former Hegemony warships were being converted into research vessels and exploration craft. Slave worlds were establishing their own governments. Species that had been deliberately kept apart were forming their own alliances and trade agreements. The Galactic Assembly's first session is about to begin, she told the Archon. Your people have a seat at the table, same as everyone else. What you do with it is up to you. As the former tyrant contemplated this, Helena took her place at the Assembly's podium. The chamber quieted as she prepared to speak to representatives of over 300 civilizations, all looking to humanity for leadership. Distinguished representatives, she began, her voice carrying to every corner of the vast chamber. Today marks not just the end of the Hegemony's dominion, but the beginning of something unprecedented in galactic history. For the first time, all spacefaring civilizations will advance together, sharing knowledge, resources, and opportunities. She paused, looking out over the assembled beings, former slaves and masters, ancient species, and newly spacefaring races, all equal for the first time. Humanity remained hidden for 50 years, not just to defeat the hegemony, but to prove a point that there are always alternatives to dominance and control. We developed our technology in secret not to conquer, but to ensure that no species would ever again be enslaved by technological dependence. The quantum cores hummed beneath the lunar surface, their power now dedicated not to weapons, but to maintaining the vast network of communication and cooperation that would bind the galaxy together. The age of technological tyranny is over, Helena declared. Welcome to an era of unlimited potential, where every species is free to reach for the stars in their own way, at their own pace, but never alone. As the chamber erupted in approval, Helena allowed herself a small smile. Humanity had emerged onto the galactic stage, not as conquerors or victims, but as liberators and teachers. The deception was over. The real work, building a galaxy worthy of all its inhabitants, was just beginning. In the space above Earth, the Hyperion and its sister ships stood watch, their quantum cores pulsing with power. They were no longer weapons of war, but symbols of a revolution that had freed hundreds of civilizations without firing a shot. Humanity had changed the galaxy not through superior firepower, but through patience, ingenuity, and an unwavering belief that freedom and knowledge were rights that belonged to all sentient beings. The dawn of a new era had arrived, and its light would reach every corner of the galaxy.